Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm Anand Chakavaloon. We've got longtime fools Tyler Crow and John Quast giving a 1 to 10 rating to Moneyball Rec Rubrik, ticker symbol RBRK. Rate the strength of Rubrik's business first, including factors like industry and competition. A 10 is invincible, a 1 is hopeless. Tyler's got a 5. John, you've got a 7.
Yeah, I went with a 7 here right off the bat. Let's talk about cybersecurity. So this is kind of unless your boat is sinking, a rising tide lifts all the other boats. And so I think that Rubrik is in a nice industry, but what I really like about Rubrik is its counter positioning. So most cybersecurity companies are trying to prevent attacks. Rubrik, on the other hand, is in place for once there's already been a successful attack against your business, how do you get your business back up and running? And that's the space that it's playing in. So I really like that kind of counter positioning. I don't feel like many of the big players are going to go after it competitively because it is differentiated. And so that is what I like. I like that it's the top visionary according to Gartner. So a good industry, counter positioning, and one of the top visionaries in the space. So I gave it a 7.
So I'm going to be the bucket of cold water today. I gave it a 5. So this particular, look, cybersecurity is already a pretty competitive business in terms of pricing and trying to win market share. But this particular part of the industry is particularly competitive because there's actually a lot of players that are kind of either private or part of a larger entity. The IDC Worldwide Software Tracker Survey in 2024 put Rubrik at about the number 7 position in terms of market share for this particular type of cybersecurity, data protection, encryption, recovery software where Rubrik plays. So you got private companies like Cohesity and Veeam, as well as publicly traded companies like Commvault Systems that are all growing at faster rates and taking market share in this industry. And really the only company ahead of it that Rubrik is taking share from is IBM. So I'm a little concerned that over the long term, this industry is going to be a knife fight for pricing.
This is the last time that I offer Tyler $20 every time he says a particular word. For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett, a 1 is Homer Simpson. Tyler's at a 4. John, you're at a 6.
Yeah, I'm at a 6 here. I like co-founder and CEO Bipul Sinha. He has a background in investing. He's thought a lot about what it takes for a business to create value over the long term, and he's brought that perspective into Rubrik as the CEO, as the founding co-founder of the business. And so I do like him a lot. The rest of the management team, I think it has a good track record as far as its life as a publicly traded company, but it hasn't been public very long, only going public in April of 2024. So I'm on the good side of neutral, but I'm still largely in the show me stage.
I went with a 4, and it's largely to do with how management is compensated. And I'm always going to be skeptical of a company that pays its CEO in stock options based on tranches of stock price. I think handing out hundreds of millions of dollars in stock options based on whether a stock can stay above its IPO price for 90 days doesn't sound like something that equates to long-term value creation for long-term buy and hold investors.
For financials, a 10 is a fortress, a 1 is yikes. Tyler's at a 6. John, you're at a 7.
Yeah, I went with a 7 here. I like that it is a high-growth company. It should be at this stage of the game, 51% growth most recently. I like that its gross margin is improving. It had a quite nice uptick in the most recent quarter. It's free cash flow positive on a trailing 12-month basis. I really like to see that, especially in a company such as this in an early stage to already be reaching that. And then it also has a net cash position. And I realize a lot of that did come from the IPO proceeds. But still, a net cash position is a net cash position. As far as the business goes, 120% net dollar retention rate above that. So its customers are buying more over time. It's not bad, but it's not necessarily the best I've seen. So that dinged it down a little bit for me. And also, I dinged it a little bit because its net cash position is around $300 million as of this recording, and the market cap around $16 billion. That's not a necessarily huge net cash position. So I dinged it a little bit there. But overall, a 7.
Yeah, I went with 6. The growth is nice, but I think the gross margin numbers that they report are a little bit of a mirage when operating margins are negative, and that's even after we adjust out for things like stock-based compensation. I think with so much competition in this space, how does it get enough pricing power to achieve profitability? I mean, it's signing people up, but when is it going to be able to actually achieve some sort of positive net income margin from this? Also, it is free cash flow positive. Like, I'm very curious, like, why did it just issue $1 billion in convertible notes? It seems a little bit off to be doing something like that. I think something's brewing in the form of an acquisition, and so that kind of makes it a little bit of an incomplete for me.
All right, Tyler, let's move on to valuation. How well will Rubrik stock do over the next 5 years, and how safe is it? 10's a sure thing, 1's a lottery ticket.
I went 0 to 5% safety score of 2, and I want to emphasize this point. In such a competitive industry, how does Rubrik achieve profitable scale? I don't doubt it can grow, but can it grow at a price point with its customers that generate returns for investors? I really think betting on this company is a lot on vibes and valuation rather than value creation.
I'm directionally with you there, Tyler. I put a safety score of 5, and so to me, that is a little bit lower than maybe what some of my other scores would have indicated I would have gone with. It is competitive, and this is a largely unproven player. So yeah, I did put it lower than what one might expect at a 5 with a safety score. But as far as returns go, if things continue on its current path, if it continues to execute like I believe it is right now, I see it easily doubling over the next 5 years. That's better than a 15% return annually. So that's where I'm at if it continues to execute, but I'm 50-50 on that.
Thank you both John and to Tyler. They've given Rubrik a low overall score of 5.5 out of 10. In terms of top hits, John has none, but Tyler has Commvault, ticker symbol CVLT. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Sentinel-1. Till then, Fool on.